thought about coming here, I said, how does this really, really connect? I brought my left, right, front, back, my hands to help me because you don't do this work alone. And so I start out by introducing you to someone who has helped me not only understand, but build on my own journey. And so Epiphany not only was an undergrad student with me, who started out just in the office greeting and greeting, getting to know people and knowing the people coming in the office, and connecting them for me when they call and treating them nice and making them feel special. And then I wouldn't let her go. So Epiphany this year is graduating with her M. She'll be working today. I'm happy to say that I'm still holding on as tight as I can. She has gone through the experience of working with the community very intimately. And that's what we should be doing for all of our students, giving them the opportunity to not only work with our community and the communities that they come from and hail from, but also helping to do that work with other students, because students tend to listen to students. You notice that, right? They seem to have these little social networks, and so they work. And so Epiphany, thank you for all you do. You see, she knows the presentation probably better than me. So she's telling me you don't have to do anything but push a button now. So my role today is to really kind of talk about how we engage, and I think our first speaker did a great job in setting the stage. When we talk about this work, community engagement and partnerships, it's critical, it's important, but it's important for you to understand the role that you played, the role that you continue to play, and how important each and every one of you are. When you talk about public health, you are the future. When you talk about public health and the answers, you are the answers. What we have to do is now put that together with the community and put that together with the stakeholders and the people and all the other folks with you. Because that's really what's going to make a change when I look at what's going to change, what is our future, because it's really in your hands. I want to talk about how we, and I love your word, deepen what I call community engagement. I've been studying that for about 20 years now, before it was even called engagement. And I learned along the way that community engagement is really partnerships. It's really coming together. It's really meaningful, because if people don't feel that it's meaningful, then why are we even here? Why are we even why am I sitting in this meeting for an hour? I could be sending all my texts and all my other information out. Why am I here? And we're going to talk about that. It requires a collective commitment from everyone. So you're going to hear about that. It also requires what I call social capital networks. We all have them. We all have the people that we go to, the people that we trust, and the people that we know. Now it's how we decide to use them is what's important for each and every one of us. It's about some words that I'm going to throw at you: trust and trustworthiness. Is it a difference? You better believe it. You better believe it in the communities that you work with, trust and trustworthiness. And then we talk about passion. Passion. What's your why? I'm going to tell you my why in a minute. But what is your why? That's your personal story. And I want to start with, I'm going to click this here and see, can you kind of show for me a little bit? Put that video on for me. This is a video. I want you to all just hear a little bit of the video. So while we're waiting for the video is about know your why. You see, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about why he's working on that video. But I'm going to tell you about my why. You see, there was this little girl, little baby, who my mother came to Newark, New Jersey in the 30s. She was one of those folks that said that I was on that train, and she thought they were saying New York. And they said Newark, and she got off. Raz Baraka tells that story all the time, so I think my family was on the same train. But the bottom line to that story is that my mother came to Newark, New Jersey, and she went into a community, and because of the color of her skin and how she looked, my mother was one of those that you could say could pass. But her sister sisters and brothers couldn't pass, but there everybody looked a little different. We all looked a little different. But when she came in, she was one of the forerunners, and she came to get a place to live for her family in advance. And when she went down to what we call the neck, many of you call it neck, some of you call it ironbound, we call it the neck because it's the neck of the city. So when she went down to the neck, she got a nice place. And when she got to the place, she brought all of her sisters and them down there, and she said, come on, we're going, I found a nice place for us to live. And when she got there, they started cleaning and everything. The lady came in and said, so nice of you, you have your little helpers with you. She said, they're helpers? That's my sister Ruby. That's my cousin Rose. Everybody's looking different. So she said, I'm so sorry, Miss Mary, you didn't tell me you were colored. She said, and so I can't rent this place to you. So my mother said, I'm gonna let this thing be somewhere anyway. You just have to find a place. So she found the place, but it was under the railroad track. Many of you know if you go down towards South Street, there's a railroad track runs across. We moved under the railroad track, like a few steps from the railroad track. The railroad track is still down there, McCarter Highway, the railroad track. We lived right in row houses under the railroad track. We loved living because we could see everything. We heard the whistles blowing. We saw the smoke. We thought it was the best thing going. And she would put us out in front of the house in a little gated area and sit out there. Well, I want you to know my caregiver was my aunt. People came in, said, we have to take the people out of this house. And I was the child that they had to take out of the house along with my aunt. We had chronic asthmatic. I became a chronic asthmatic person. We both had tuberculosis and other ailments that I don't even know what they were. But at that time, I was 2.5 years old. And they said, we're gonna put her in the hospital, she'll be all right. 2 years turned into each day. My mother would say, I'm going there, she's only gonna be there a week, they said. A week turned into a month. They said, oh, she's only gonna be in there a month. No, a month turned into a year. I stayed in the hospital for 3 years. That my mother prayed every day, she's gonna be all right. My aunt did not make it. That was my caregiver. So my why became, why me first? But you know what? It was the hospital and the people in health that saved my life. They not only made me not want to leave the hospital, because I thought the nurses were my aunties anyway. So I just wanted to be around them all the time because they were caregivers. They loved me like they loved their own. And then you know what the best part of it was? When I came home, it was the health department that came and did the x-rays, came to check on me. I felt I had my own doctors and nurses coming. And when I would go to the health department in different places, you know what they did? They made me feel so special. They would welcome me, and I thought I had my own private room. That really wasn't good. They made me feel that way. And so my why became, why? Because I cared and somebody cared for me. So this is important to me because of that. Now, can you take me to the why?
How do I know? A lot of people, when they think of the phrase, how do I know, they always want to put the what behind it. How do I know what I'm supposed to do? The question that you really should ask is, how do I know why I'm here? Because when you know your why, your what becomes more clear and more impactful. If you know, like for instance, people know that I do comedy, but that's what I do. My why is to inspire people to walk in purpose. So I can do comedy, I can write books, I can be in a movie, because all of it is motivated by my why. In fact, I have a new web series out called Michael Jr. Break Time. We probably just did the 6th episode. It's on YouTube. So every single Wednesday at 3 o'clock, we drop a new episode on YouTube of Michael Jr. Break Time. What it is it's me. I travel around the country and I do stand-up comedy, in case you didn't know. And in the middle of my comedy set sometime, I'll stop and just talk to my audience. And we've been filming this, and it's, you know, it's pretty cool. So we're in Winston-Salem. I'm gonna show you a clip from Winston-Salem. And I'm just talking to this guy in the audience, and he tells me that he's a musical instructor at a school. So I was like, all right, you're a musical instructor, you know, can you sing? Let me hear you sing a song. So this is what happened at the last episode of Michael Jr.'s Break Time. Check it. So you're a musical director?
Yes, sir.
All right, so let me get a couple bars of like Amazing Grace. Can you do the first part of that? Go ahead.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
Wow. That bro could sing. You know what I'm saying? Now, once you give me the version, is if your uncle just got out of jail, you got shot in the back when you was a kid. I'm just saying, let me see the hood version real quick, if you know which version I'm talking about, just see if that exists. Let me see what you got.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Right now, some was blind, but now I see.
Look at what happens when you know your why. This is what happens when you know your why. You know, when you know your why, you sing a little different song. When you know your why, you act a little different, you dance a little different, you interface with your community and with your people a little different. So know your why. How many of you know your why up in here? And if you don't, you better start thinking about what's my why, because that's the longevity. That's sustainability, is knowing your why. Okay, so each and every one of you dig deep, because you're not in this room and you are not in this profession if you don't have a why. You already do. You just have to dig for that why and bring that why out and let that why help you to do your work. So you know, this is what I prevent everybody from. I'm going to the rescue for that community. Them poor people, they just need help. They don't understand. They don't know. They're dealing with so much every day. And that is the truth, and each and every one of you are too. I'm looking at the group here. You're raising families, you're doing everything. You're teaching, you're preaching, you're doing everything. And so when you think about it, you want to have this syndrome to say, I can save you. I have the knowledge, I can save you. And that's the first thing that we do in our communities. I know exactly what to do because I've studied it. That's not where you lay your head every day. And that's what I tell my professors, our researchers. If you're not laying your head there every day, then you don't know. But you need to know. And the people in that community can help you to understand it to them. You know, when I do the definition, and I like that weaving, I'm going to have to leave that in somewhere sometime. But community education, engagement, when I talk about it to our faculty and to our students, I talk about it in a broad sense. I talk about it being at every level. It's local, so you need to deal with your local people. It's a shame sometimes that some of our researchers, and they say to me, I want to work in the West Ward. I said, have you been there? Yeah, I come down South Orange Avenue on the way to work. I said, have you been there? You're a business person. You want to work with the businesses. Have you been in any of those businesses? Are you stopping on your way down? Are you going to any of the places? Are you seeing what's at the senior centers and where they're located? And they'll look at me like, huh. But I see it on paper. I know that we have 54 businesses on between these blocks. Yes, but have you been there? Do you know? Do you know the places and spaces in the community? So when we talk about university-community partnerships, and I'm happy to say I'm also a graduate of the, matter of school. My degree, I was very blessed. And I say very fortunate and blessed. People use them interchangeable. I use them together. And I say that because I had the opportunity to go to 3 schools at one time. So my degree is from Rutgers Health, UMD&J, which was UMD&J. It is from NJIT, the whole part of looking at architecture, where people live, and then it's combined with the Graduate School of Education, which means that I'm looking at policy and public policy. So my lens is a little different, and I have to remind my students and myself that we're here to engage as citizens. We're here to engage with the community in a different way. So and when we look at this from a lens of a university, while we're doing engagement, we're also interested in research and scholarship. We need to know the results, and we need to get the money. That's research and scholarship. That's your money. And it's not just coming from the local state or the feds, it's coming from your foundations and other people too. Teaching and training. We have to have a workforce to pass this on. That's sustainability. Sustainability is teaching somebody else to do what you know. Teaching somebody else to work and respecting each other's gifts. All of us are different. What I bring in the room is different from what Epiphany brings in the room. It's different from my staff. All of us look a little different. And we have different things that we do well. I can no way think and write the way one of my staff would. She can put it to the paper faster than anyone. But I have good, she said, but I can't think like you. You're a visionary. You be putting this stuff together. We don't even know what's in your head. You know, so respect each other in the teams that you're working with, and bring people around the team that don't have the same gifts as you. Because that's how we're going to expand this. When we look at the model that we use, it's a little different. And I came up with this model, transdisciplinary, intergenerational community engagement model, TICA. And we came up with transdisciplinary because those of you that know, everybody's doing interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary. That's good for the local, for the colleges. But when we talk about going outside of that, transdisciplinary allows the people who you're working with to become experts just like you, on the same playing field. So it means that your researchers and anybody with you, including the people in the community, and your community people become experts. They lay their heads there every night. They're the social capital networks to the people. You don't get to them without them, some of them. I don't get anywhere without Deacon Dixon. Now everybody say, is he your deacon? I said, no, he everybody deacon in Norfolk. He's at New Hope Church, but everybody, I don't care what church you go to, they don't even know his real name. They know Deacon Dixon. They do not know Francis Dixon. Because he is a social capital network to his community. He's been here 50 years in that community, in that church. And that's not his age, but he's been there 50 years working with the people. So when we think about transdisciplinary, that's an important piece for you to understand you are doing something different. Because you're bringing everybody together, and you're bringing them together as experts in their own rights. Intergenerational, to sustain any partnerships that you're doing, it has to be done from an intergenerational perspective. Every project that we do, it involves students, family members, it involves multiple ages of people. Our seniors, they don't like to call them seniors anymore. They're the aging population now. I'm one of them, they said, so we're aging population. So remember that when you call a senior or elder. They don't want to be called the elder anymore. We're the aging population, just remember that. When we talk about our community, we talk about not just the residents, but you're talking about key stakeholders. Who are the council people that's supposed to be helping to work with them? Who are your state and local officials? And how are you intimately connected to them? Are you on any of their boards? I have gladly served with the New Jersey Legislative Black Caucus Foundation Board because I wanted to know who the legislators are that are making these policies for us. So you have to get involved at multiple levels. Get to know the people, get to know the stakeholders, get to know some of the boards locally. When we talk about engagement, we're talking about engaging in a meaningful, different way. We're not just having meetings just to have meetings. What you can hear a little bit more is that we celebrate together because we want to get to know each other in a different way. And then, research. We want to know how to make our world better. And the only way you're going to get people to participate in it, be a part of it, is not to be threatened by it, and you play a key role in helping them to understand and design. These are the principles. I'm not going to read them all because I'm between doing lunch, and I don't play with hungry people. We know that these are the different principles, but number 2, build trust. That's so important. You know, in our communities, you don't get trust by just walking in the door with your credentials. Trust is built on the fact that I know you care about me, and you really care. Sometimes it takes long to build that. You know, when you're in relationships, you don't just jump in relationships that equal something. But a lot of times we take the time to get to know someone, right? We get, on a date. Let's date a little bit. Let's get to know. And then you want to do something that we don't do well in higher ed. We don't like to share. We don't share our resources. And we have to put them on a leveraging opportunity so that they feel like they're getting what we get too. So when we build our programs, we build it around community people also getting funding that they normally wouldn't get. And it's included. And we try to not restrict it so that you can only buy food or you can only buy one thing. We try to say if you need an additional staff person, part-time, or you gotta buy out someone's time. If you need equipment, certain things. So it's important to look at this in that context when you're building relationships because it's not always what we think people want. This I'm going to go by fast because I think we're going to have copies of the slides, right? So we're going to have the slides for you, but it's about respect. It's about people feeling included, not excluded, like I'm just here because they want to get to my organization. I'm just here because they need an organization like mine. No, it's about listening to them, the people who are part of this process, and they hold the key, being the stakeholders, not only that, but they hold the key to the social capital network. If Miss Mary tells you, and tell the people on that block, don't trust that child, you're not going to be trusted. Then Miss Mary said, I had a bad experience with that child. I don't like that place or that organization. They didn't help me. You're not going to get the help. So you have people that you can embrace and help them to understand the work that you're doing and the important work that you're doing. And again, you got to validate, you got to share, and then this part is important, reconnect. You don't care about them for the moment or the 3 years of the grant or the 5 years. It's about constantly re-engaging. And there's so many ways to do that. This is what happened. This is how it happened. This is where we're at now. This is our data. Let's share this information with you. And some of you probably are already doing a lot of these things. When we talk about the planning process, I have this little book I use in my class, and I tell the students, if you don't read anything else, get this little book. This is your toolkit. It's going to tell you how to engage. It's going to help you, and it's going to help you to practice how to engage. So out of all the books that you could buy, all the professors that want you to buy their books for $100 and $200, my book only costs $12 on Amazon. And if you can't get it, come and let me know, because then we'll get it from the bookstore and get you a complimentary one, because you can have that book. And this book is about communication, it's about funding, but more or less how you look at funding when you're working with organizations, marketing and PR, because you know that's important. Nobody wants you to write their story for them. Evaluation, because we have to evaluate, we have to look at, in order for us to get money, you all know you have to look, you have to have some outcomes, right? And I was telling my friend here, it used to be in the, management by objective, and then they went to these other models, but they all the same. They're making you be accountable to certain things so you can look at the work and see how you move forward. And then my favorite one is celebrating. And that's bringing everybody together constantly. I don't care if it's for food, a meal. It could be boots on the ground. Oh, y'all didn't catch it, okay? They didn't catch it, okay? Wear that fan? Okay, you didn't catch it, okay? But that's all right. It could be whatever you want it to be, but bringing people together so that they understand that they're valued and having fun and talking about what happened. This is one of my quotes that I use a lot of quotes for the students and everything, because I want to kind of put something inside of them. I want them to keep understanding how important they are to the real mission. And so sometimes you just need things to look at, and one of the marvelous things about community is it enables us to welcome and help people in a way that we couldn't as individuals. Because when you all come together and work with them, it's so different, and you all bring so many different levels of skills and understanding. This is one of the projects we worked on, and this is the team that I work with, Dr. Shauna Hudson. I know some of you may know her. I call her a mini genius. She assembled this team, and everyone is so different on the team. She did community with research, and then she had someone to deal with researchers because that's what their gift is, that's what they do. Dr. Jimenez does that. And then, we were able to involve all our folks in different ways. Those that haven't had experience maybe with focus groups so that they could be a part of doing those focus groups and explaining to people that this focus groups is a study too. They're not always sticking you in the arm. They're not always doing things, but there are different ways. So let's get you in different ways and places and get an opportunity for our health professionals to be a part of that and understanding what we need to change, what communities need to change, what they can address together. These are all the organizations that we work with. I'm quite sure you're familiar with some of them. We're probably more than some. But these are all the different organizations that were part of our study, our program, and what we did during COVID. And I share that because a lot of people weren't able to assemble people during that time. But these are all the wonderful organizations that were part of that. Changed how we communicated with our community. We changed and made them feel like they were, and really not made them feel like it, they were, empowered them to be able to address issues in their community and have access to the experts. And they loved it. They had access. But also we did something else different. We didn't put out any materials or anything without their input, because we wanted to make sure the language, the wording, the pictures, are they going to use this? What works best for the community? So it was collaboration. People call it co-creating or co-creation. There's a lot of names for it. I call it doing the right thing. And so I'm going to share this with you real quick. Another video for you. Thank you so much. I'm going to share this with you and try to stay on time. This one is a little longer, so I probably will cut it after a few minutes. This is the response from the people that were part of this project. And you probably know some of them too.
There was a level of urgency to the issue, trying to get COVID testing out there to the public that didn't necessarily have access to it.
It's eye-opening to see the community embrace the world of the university and say, I get it now. I get what research is. I get what a study is, and it's not harmful to me. It's ways of understanding it, and it's ways of embracing it in a different way.
the NIH put out an announcement suggesting they wanted new approaches in enhancing testing in vulnerable populations. So that gave us the spark. That was the catalyst to bring us together. Now, they gave us no clue on how to do it.
We really talked to everybody in our collective communities, and we're saying, what can we do to get our arms around this and make it better?
The best part about the NJ Heroes 2 project is seeing all of these communities and representatives that were part of the project working together in one accord toward a common goal, and it would have an impact for the whole state of New Jersey and even beyond for those who would do that research.
When I heard about this, I was like, wow, CNAs, custodians, dining assistants, we are the ones, also heroes. We are not the traditional nurses, but we are the heroes.
We had churches, we had community organizations, we had parent organizations, we had senior serving organizations. I think in our community where I am, it's primarily Black and brown people. And I think that sometimes they are overlooked when it comes to projects that can be very beneficial. And so this was an opportunity to bring to my community resources and services that they would not have ordinarily received.
What stood out to me as being unique in this project is how, again, our voice was being heard in the materials that were sent out to the community. It addressed a lot of their questions right within the flyers themselves. So individuals, it lessened the amount of hesitancy that they had because of the way the flyers were there. And we were able to create them. We were actually able to create the flyers working with the team.
You had to start with a screener, you had to give informed consent, because you always have to do that with research. Take the survey, order the test kit, collect the sample, return the kit, and then you get your gift card and your results back.
If we're trying to reach Latino families, it should be Latino families that they see on the marketing material. I like the fact that we were intentionally able to provide that, and that marketing material just didn't stick to one generic standard.
We were doing our best to increase testing in underserved communities, but we were all being impacted in our own ways. And by being selfless, by setting aside our egos, being authentic with each other and listening, we were able to not just accomplish the goals of this project, but we were able to support each other in such a difficult time for our nation, for the world.
To be a part of something with so many experts in various fields, and also have everyone's expertise validated and respected as well and brought to the conversation, was very humbling for us.
It was really exciting for me to be a part of a project like this because I got to see firsthand the way that community members and healthcare organizations could voice their expertise and opinions to researchers and see that make a difference in how the research was being done in real time.
I'm going to stop with
And
my friend Mary O'Dowd. Many of you know Mary. She used to be the health commissioner at one time, and she's also on the board for the university. She's doing so many fabulous things, but to have different people at different levels there. I'm going to move on fast because okay, we'll wait. And it goes on to show you different people that were involved in the project and how, their words of wisdom, but not only words of wisdom, but their experience in working with each other, because they're all coming from different disciplines. Everybody is different. Everybody's not majoring in one thing or in one area. And that made the difference. And that made the difference. And to bring the health professionals in different ways. And so when I talk about the program, one of the programs that came as a result of this was the Community Scientist Program. This program is alive and well. This program actually has recruits people from the community to serve as community scientists. And of course, you can go and you'll see this is the process for it, where they actually get certified, city certified. So they can now help conduct the research work along with you and others that are also city certified, and if you're not, then that's the program for you. And then you get to hear from community conversations, experts that are telling you, not really telling, asking you, what else do you need in different areas, ethics, all kinds. So our community science, this is the second cohort, and you can see it's people, there's Deacon Dixon up there, there's Pastor Pam there. Pastor Pam does reentry programs. See why that's important? And she's in the forefront of leading it for women and what we reach on. And so you see all the different people from the community. Crystal is the, I call her the physical guru, physical education guru. She does all the exercise programs, all the food programs for all of the aging population. You can't really say the word. And then some of you may know some of these folks. They're health professionals. They're health professionals from the city of New York, New Jersey. And they all went through the community scientist program so that now they can be attached to researchers. They're in the forefront. We can call on them if we wanted from surveys. They can lead different research and bring people, we can help them to bring people around them and to collaborate for funding. I'm getting down to my last 5 minutes. So when we talk about the partnerships, they're really based on, coming together because you all have a common goal. You know your why. That's the first. And then when we talk about this, trust versus trustworthiness, and I just want to say this real fast because this is important. Everybody go in and they say, I want trust. I'm going to build trust. But trust takes time. But trustworthiness takes more time. Trustworthiness in our community means I got your back. You don't have to worry. Everything I do is in our best interest, even if we disagree. And it's okay to disagree because I'm trustworthy. I'm not going to do anything to hurt you. I'm not going to do anything to hurt our organization because we're partners. We're true partners. That goes beyond trust. Okay? And that's what we have to thrive for. Trustworthiness. And it doesn't happen by walking in the room one time. It's developed over time. And sustainability is building that within the context of your organization and not just one person. Health and wellness community events, all of you are doing that. Some of you are, and you have people on your staff that does this. So how do you connect with the community to do that and do what's well? Crystal's out there all the time, not just doing exercise with our aging population, but with the community in general. How can I help you? What can you do? Our students are out there. One of the medical students out there. So we're doing things, we're connecting. And some of you know Branchwood Park this weekend had broke a record for the cherry blossom. But we break a record because we're out there doing exercises in the summer and using the facilities to bring the community together. And who's there when community organizations come and do health fairs and all kinds of things? It's the Department of Health and Wellness. It's the people from the university that are doing different work in health. These are some of the community partners. And I bring them because you can see that they're local. These are just a few of some of the ones that have funding, that have given that funding to us. And then when I think about this, Senior Connect, it's not moving into the new. Our students go on Sunday after church. And we gave out these tablets. And Epiphany oversees that project. Hey, Epiphany, I have 1 minute. Tell you that Epiphany oversees that project with all of our seniors, whether they're in churches, whether they're in senior centers. We go to these are all the 5 senior centers in Newark our students are at. And guess what they just taught them? My chart. How to look and go into your information, the things that you do and need with them. They're teaching them my chart, the students. Now you need to go behind us and work with us to take that to the next level of health and wellness, because that's what you do. And then when I think about the class, it's building bridges, students from all walks of life, but they also do the citizen power. And if none of you know about that, get the book, go online, it's free. You get a certificate in citizen power. That means that you can learn how to organize people among themselves and in your community to address an issue. See, housing is health. Okay? Food insecurity is health. So you can galvanize people and be a part of things with that. And this is free. Just contact me. I like that word, free. And I will contact you with the person who is in charge, who is co-teaches with me. Okay? She's a co-teacher right there on the end. This class. So that the students can build it all in. My time is just about up. That's the citizen scientist. And I just want to leave you with this. I believe we can change the world if we do one thing, we start listening to one another again. You know, it's honest, it's just human conversation. You don't have to prove anything, who's the brightest, who's the best. We don't need anybody to come in and negotiate for us. We don't need a problem solving, and we don't need to debate, because we all want the same thing for each other. It's not just being at a public meeting, it's being in person as a person. And so we want simple conversations where we have a chance to speak, people want to hear, and they have a chance to feel that they've been heard. And we know we each can listen well. So I thank you, and I hope this has been beneficial. I'll be available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Did you know about the books on the No. Okay. We'll leave it alone.
Appreciate your energy and insight into community development. We have, like, up against lunch, but happy to engage one